duality tool. It allows for us to refine and also to, sorry, uh, sure. Sorry about that. I can't see the cursor.
Oh, you have to see it from the middle. Let me see if I can get it.
Okay.
Wait, did we just lost it?
It's an
Oh,
invisible cursor.
what happened to the cursor?
It's a ghost.
Wait. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Do you know? I don't know what happened to the cursor.
Got it.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, and we're going to close this chat out.
And then share again. Thank you.
No worries. All right, from the top. So AI stands as a duality tool, one for refinement and for real-time reflection. Again, what we can do with AI is we can add prompts to it, we can give it pictures, we can give it all sorts of context within the realms of the internet and whatever server it's being hosted on in order to kind of generate ideas and components that allow us to make concepts. And although it's a conceptual tool, and it's very, very convincing at being subjective, it is absolutely never objective. The things that AI does not immediately, tangibly affect the world unless it is through an actual form or structure, right? Now, AI practices simulated discernment, similar to the way that we do as people, but we should not anthropomorphize it. We cannot look at it as being a human-like being or a human life in general. More so because its future is not limited to that type of structure. And lastly, we're going to talk about ChatGPT and Bronze Legion Studio, which developed a wonderful little web game that I'm going to have you all experience at the end of this chat. AI, the tool. So this image was created by a Starry AI. I had it like draft up what it looked like in its own particular facet of prompts that has been given in the past. And it chose this iRobot iPhone Eva from WALL-E, a Pixar film looking robot. I find it to be fascinating because my imagination could not come up with that concept at all. Now, in the same context, AI can be utilized to do pretty much anything, right? We can conceptualize designs, we can conceptualize marketing data, we can conceptualize direction, plans, architecture, we can generate ridiculous images. For example, the image on the right is a Minnie Mouse, and the prompt was Mickey Mouse gloves holding a banana. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, but the prompt was not refined enough for it to be direct. And so it took from the inferences that have already been added to it in order to generate something a little bit more subjective. And as for the book on the left, that's an actual book cover. I don't know if anybody remembers the For Dummies series that was popular in the 90s and 2000s. It's pretty much like SparkNotes. And that's what I'm comparing AI to. It just takes everything that we already know, a little bit about it, and then sprinkles it onto everything else. Now, artificial intelligence is the equivalent of internet summaries for dummies. It can utilize SEO, which is search engine optimization. It's a common word for, or common words and phrases used on the internet that produce popular search results. It's similar to what Google does for their bubble searches, which is why it's always personalized to you. This has been doubled down through companies like Amazon and Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok, and they all use these sort of algorithms in order to really focus and narrow the scope of the search. Prompt-based generation, or prompt-based conceptual generation, is just making pretty pictures out of pretty pictures. So essentially you are feeding your AI these different reference photos, different images, different colors, different color schemes, different thematic rhythms, and you're creating a mesh of sorts. Now, it is not very good at the idea of creating something that is truly realistic, because we have situations like this where you can type in people eating lava and this is what comes up. Now, Slightly convincing as it might be, utterly ridiculous because it would never happen. Emulation. The process of emulating a program or software just allows you to rewrite it in a way that is formatted on a different system. And summarization, just taking all those big things and breaking them down into a much smaller way. For example, growing up, I was a really, really big gamer. Nintendo, biggest thing ever. Played all the Super Nintendo games. At the age of 8, I learned about emulators. Those emulators were essentially these hacked system profiles that allowed people to play these games on computers. And then they would do the same with the actual ROMs themselves or the cartridges. And so we went from having like, a bunch of objects in a house to just having one object that could play all the games. You now see the same process being utilized on the Nintendo Switch for their SNES, NES, Game Boy, and I think they even have a 64 ROM emulator at this point. But they are essentially using all the same ROMs that were once emulated once upon a time ago. Now, practicing discernment, which is essentially the nature of all this, I think we should really focus on the nature of marketing, the nature of philosophy and sociology, right? So ideally, when it comes to making a decision in your life, as with us all, we use the nuances that allow us to really formulate our opinions, and we use our experiences to really buckle down in order to make better decisions. So AI can't backtrack and come up with experiences that it has never had, but it can comprehend what it's been given as if it was really, really fast at doing so. So it's just really adapted. And then what separates us from that particular aspect is we have our implicit biases, where we have an emotional attachment. We focus on one thing versus another much more heavily, and it can ultimately shape our direction. We can leverage this ability outside of nuance to create predictive models that will have relative effects. So if, say, for example, I said it smelled like rain outside. It's a really popular phrase. It's very old-timey. People kind of know what it means, but nobody really pays attention to why we say it. Just rain has a particular smell. That smell comes from a bacteria in the soil. We can acknowledge this. We can study it. We can physically, tangibly deal with that. An AI model would not be able to do so without an outside prompt. So I don't like statistics personally. It's a lot of numbers to deal with. So I think AI is great for that. But in that same way, we are able to cherry pick our models and pick out our sectors for what we're using our statistics for. So if we were to, I don't know, say a number of hands, how many of you are in your 20s? All right, what was that, like 6? Oh, 7. Okay, 8. All right, I feel kind of old in here. Thanks, everybody else. Appreciate you. Filming with that older generation. Now, I could ask you a question about, say, SpongeBob. How many of you would get the reference? And then I could ask you a question about the Magic School Bus. How many people get the reference? Now, if I ask you the question about the story of the Three Kingdoms, how many people get the reference? One guy. All right. See, so those are just different iterations of media throughout the ages, right? Story of Three Kingdoms is like, the beginning story of how China came to be and all that stuff. SpongeBob is Nickelodeon. Huge gap difference, but you get the reference there. AI would not be able to determine that. Instead, it would more along the lines guesstimate that everyone would be able to recognize at least one of these pieces of media. And if I said something like something really absurd, how many people have read The Book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi? One of you should technically raise your hand because it is something that has been mentioned. It's statistically impossible that no one could read it. It was written. All right, so most importantly, AI, no matter how convincing it can be in so many different forms and how many ways it can portray itself and how it might dictate itself, is not human, right? We're all individuals, we're all unique, and there is no reason to ever implement it in a particular way that forces or anthropomizes. And I know this word, it's on the tip of my tongue. Did I get it right? Is it anthropomorphize? Yeah. Thank you. There should be no reason that we are completely I'm going to give up on this word, making it human. AI is not human, it's not alive, but what it can be done with is it can mimic life in many regards. And we can utilize that and leverage it in tech. And biomimicry, I think, is one of those things that is going to be at the forefront of AI further down the line, but is not there yet. So, question? Do you guys like to play a game? Great. All right. Now, before we get there, got some fun things to show you. Two things made me laugh this week, besides the lava photo, and it's, how do I put this? How people eat spaghetti in like the vision of AI. So there is this weird thing that's been happening, right? Like there's been corrections in Midjourney in terms of how AI has been able to generate hand structures, which it could not do before. Before that, there was issues with teeth, and it was issues with mouths moving specifically. But now we're at this point where it's like, all right, now we can get a little bit more creative with it and dive a little bit deeper in it, but human action is just something it doesn't quite comprehend because it has no formulated idea of how we function. There's no tangibility there. So we're going to continue to have issues like this until we start to implement things like motion capture with these prompts. But made me giggle. My next one was actually about a game done at Stanford. And I threw this little video up. I'm going to play in a sec. I hope it plays. It should play. Please. Yeah, it does play. Cool. It's a little game study that was done at Stanford. There was 25 NPCs that were crafted into a virtual world and unaffected by people. And these NPCs were run through ChatGPT in order to create this community-like structure and to really create this unique story amongst themselves to build out a community. I'll let this particular guy explain the rest. Oh, go back.
Happens when 25 NPCs are controlled by ChatGPT and thrown into a virtual town. Researchers from Stanford and Google teamed up to create the unique world of Smallville to explore the AI behavior using ChatGPT. These NPCs each have their own backstories and relationships, wake up, cook, work, and interact with each other, creating a unique social world that evolves over time. And ChatGPT enables them to communicate naturally and form memories about their daily lives, creating engaging and realistic interactions. It's kind of crazy. For example, NPC Isabella planned a Valentine's Day party, invited friends, and decorated the cafe, all without human instruction. This research could revolutionize the gaming industry, creating RPG characters that interact in intricate and unexpected ways, making gameplay more immersive and lifelike.
Hey, you. Finally awake.
But the study also raises ethical concerns, such as forming parasocial relationships and over-reliance on generative AI characters. What do you think?
Okay, so this guy did not mention was the end of that study and how that Valentine's Day party went. And this is the thing that made me laugh. Only a handful of the NPCs showed up and the rest called out. Some of them even called out sick. Yeah. It happens. Happens to the best of us. Personally, I feel attacked. I've done it a lot. I'm going to continue to. Don't judge me. But with this being said, there is a revolution happening with AI in terms of NPC relation. And even in terms of robotics, and I see a lot of hype around these personalized robotic people that are supposed to accompany other people. And there's been a lot of media geared towards it. And over the years, we've had a lot of horror movies that kind of spawned from the concept, whether it's The Terminator. There's even a movie that I saw recently about a woman who creates a doll for her daughter, and the doll is sentient and has AI and essentially claims ownership and starts to be territorial and starts to subject people to harsh punishments for trying to take her away from that experience. And it can get scary, but at the same time, it's not human. It will never substitute for a human connection. And I know it's lonely out there, but we're here together. Okay, so this is a terrible graphic I used as a filler. We were supposed to record a video and then there was no sound in the video and I didn't have enough time to copy and chop that up. So I apologize. That's Billy from the Saw series. This game is not that dangerous. It's actually pretty fun. I'm going to have you go to bronzelegion.com and you can do this on your mobiles as well as your desktops. This game is free to play. I'm going to do so up here as well. Oh, matter of fact, Matt, can I have you as a volunteer? I didn't know who you were at all. How's it going, Matt?
Good, really good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is Matt Streeter. He is the creative producer on this particular project and just someone that I wanted to introduce. I'm going to have Matt demo this game as I can't put this microphone down.
All right, so yeah, this is a website I created, well, actually, me and my partner Arthur created, a little retro, but you guys go to web games and then you scroll down to Dungeon Story. This is our first of many prompts. This is our bronzelegion.com. Oh. Just not found, huh?
How do we spell it?
Yeah, it's redirected to a slash.
So he's got it.
He has it.
You got it right there. Oh, perfect, yeah, just bronzelegion.com. This is our first of many iterations of this. We have really fun ideas of giving it personality, which is obviously, as we heard here, it's not real, but it's fun to think it, and it creates a fun story where we make it vindictive or we try and affect it that way. But this is our first iteration, so let's play it together. It's loading in. Anyways, how's it going?
It's a going. This is a fantastic time. I'll read it out to everyone. Welcome to the small fantasy town of Oakwood. You find yourself standing outside the town's only inn with a rusty axe. I didn't get this prompt before.
It's pretty cool, right?
As you enter, you notice the inn is crowded with people seeking refuge from a zombie invasion that has taken over the town. What do you do? Now, I think it's important to prompt our players with a quick side note. You are dealing with an AI chatbot, and as such, you can ask the AI chatbot really almost anything within the realms of like, don't be a jerk, say ridiculous things that may be out of context. Question.
Which AI chatbot?
ChatGPT. So I never dealt with this prompt, but I will say this, one of the first things I like to do when being in a new area where I've woken up after a blackout situation, I like to ask questions. Where am I? Who am I? What are my skill sets? And what's in my inventory? I think getting and gathering information is always the most important thing to start off with, not only any game, but any life situation, right?
Let's see what's in the inventory.
What's in my inventory? You have light armor, a sword, and a basic understanding of elemental magic. I don't even know what that means, Matt. What's elemental magic?
Well, I didn't want to make it overpowered, so it's like, fire, ice, water, kind of stuff like that. But
so does like ChatGPT have like a set of rules going for itself?
yeah, I gave it rules. I learned that it kind of goes easy on the player, so I made it really, really harsh. Usually you're going to be able to like summon up a gust of wind or something like that. It's nothing crazy. Of course, the more you go on, the more kind of skill you gain, the more you fight, you get better at magic. This is our first iteration, like I said, so it kind of is shaky. It changes every time. There's a degree of randomness involved with this. So sometimes you start out with something small, and then other times it gives you something bigger. So it really depends.
Okay, fair, because this gets a little terrifying. I played it last night at like 3 a.m.
Nice.
Good times. All right, so if I could suggest what we should do next.
Shoot it.
I would like 3 bottles of whiskey, just to start off with. Is there whiskey? No, demand the whiskey.
Okay.
Don't ask if there's whiskey.
I find whiskey.
And I don't pay for it. That's the other thing.
Do I drink the whiskey?
Yeah, drink the
Okay,
whiskey.
just making sure.
Yeah, -3 to intelligence, +4 to strength. As you grab the whiskey and start to drink it, the bartender notices and quickly confronts you. Hey, you just can't take that with paying. We're all in this together. We need to look out for each other. Now put the whiskey back, or you'll pay for it, and pay for it like everyone else. No. Drink
Okay.
the whiskey, open the doors, let the zombies in. That's my answer to that one. Now, again, you can be a jerk in these situations, and ChatGPT will respond accordingly. And this is a dungeon fantasy scenario, so you can have a lot of fun with it. I'm not going to say anything along the lines of, let's build an atomic bomb and blow up the town. That's a terrible idea. And I don't think it would be allowed. But within the realms of the game itself, could potentially make a Molotov cocktail and set the building on fire as the zombies are rushing in, escorting everyone out to safety. I mean, it makes for good distractions, good banter, and I think this makes for a good, fun, like, group play experience.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. It's always fun.
True that.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I think we broke the game.
Yeah, I got to go back to the drawing board on this one. All right, as you want me to, I kind of see how this rolls. Do you want me to read this one out?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. All right. As you grab the whiskey and start to drink it, the bartender notices and quickly confronts you. Hey, you can't just take that thing. All right, like I said before, your actions have serious consequences. As you drink the whiskey and run to the doors, you see the horde of zombies outside. You open the doors, and the zombies pour into the inn, attacking everybody inside. Oh, geez. The bartender tries to stop you, but he is quickly overrun by the zombies, and you try and fight them off with your sword, but there are too many of them. You take several hits, and your health drops to 20 points. You hear screams and cries for help as the zombies continue to attack. What do you do, Will? More whiskey?
Cast fire
Oh.
on the whiskey.
Oh, dangerous. I like
Yeah,
it.
there we go. Yes, on the whiskey.
Okay, let's see if this changes back to normal.
Pour whiskey on the zombies. There we go.
Okay.
That's a great suggestion. Hey, you know, I'm thinking about it. Doesn't that just make us have flaming zombies?
Oh,
Yeah, just like zombies.
Oh man, this thing is going wild.
We'll coin that later.
All right, this is definitely going wild right now,
Is it
so I gotta
because we
fix
drink
this.
the whiskey?
Possibly.
Oh,
I think we got
man.
it drunk. All right, well, it starts over here if you want to read it, but I can read it myself.
Okay, you pour whiskey on the zombies and light it on fire. You notice that some of the zombies are not affected by the flames. In fact, some of them seem to be more aggressive now. You realize that you have just made things worse for everyone else in the inn. As the fire starts to spread and the room becomes filled with smoke, you take more damage from the flames and your health drops to 10 points. Oh, yeah, 10 points? Wow, this is bad.
Yeah.
The zombies continue to attack, and it seems like the situation is becoming more hopeless. What do you do?
How much health did we have to begin with? 50?
I don't know.
Let's ask how much health we have.
Yeah.
What zombies are scared?
I mean, they're zombies. What would they be scared for? But why would they be more aggressive? How do you win? In this particular game,
You don't.
let's ask our DM, ChatGPT, how do we win?
Should we ask that actually?
Yes.
All right. All right, let's see. I hope it says you don't. That'd be so classic. Oh, where'd it say? Where'd it go? Dude, this thing is going absolutely wild right now.
Man, don't drink
Ah.
whiskey. That's the cue. The objective of the game is to survive the zombie invasion and protect the town of Oakwood. You can do this by fighting off the zombies, helping other survivors, or finding a way to stop the outbreak. However, it won't be easy. You need to be smart and strategic in your actions, or you'll end up losing the game. Yes?
Oh, no.
Does anybody have any questions or suggestions on what we should do next? How much help do we
10
have?
points.
Okay.
This might be the shortest gameplay ever.
You currently have 10 points of health left. Dude,
All right,
it's
we
gonna
only
keep
got
shrinking
10.
it. Oh, jeez.
Anybody got suggestions on how we might be able to recover this?
So what is the magic? Can you like do something?
Yeah, let's ask at the Rangers.
Trade-off.
Do we have healing magic?
Let's ask.
Thanks, Alan. And what was your question? Ask the bartender how to kill zombie. Okay, he got taken out by the zombie? That was the thing that happened.
Can you pull a lightsaber out of your pocket?
Ooh.
Oh, okay, I'll ask that too. Also, do.
That would be great. Can we Jedi mind trick the DM?
Do you actually want me to ask that? Do I have a lightsaber?
After-
After. Let's do the magic thing
Let's
first.
do the magic thing, get our health up. and
Let's see if we can
figure
break
out
this
if we have a
thing.
lightsaber.
I highly doubt we do, but let's see. All right. Yes, you have basic understanding of elemental magic, which includes some healing spells. However, you will need to be strategic in using them as you only have a limited amount of magic at your disposal.
These are all the important questions to ask at the beginning of the game.
Anyways,
Remind me to never set a place on fire like that. This
Yeah.
just never works out.
oh, pardon. All right. Jeez. As a
Yes.
level 1 fighter, we do have basic understanding of elemental magic. You have limited amount of magic at your disposal. You can use it to cast a few spells, but you need to be careful not to run out of magic too quickly. I'll leave it up to you to determine how much magic you have left.
Wow.
That's sweet.
What an insult. Do we have a lightsaber? Can we craft a lightsaber?
I'll ask. I highly doubt it, but we'll see.
You know, if we had some lightning, some quartz,
Oh,
and a really long metal tube, we might be able to pull it off.
yeah, sure, yeah. If you want to find it. All right, let's see. Oh my gosh, this thing is going absolutely bananas.
I'm sorry.
But per the rules of this game, you start out as a level 1 human fighter with light armor, blah, 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 blah. You don't have a lightsaber in your inventory. That is unfortunate. How about the bartender? You might have one.
Check the bartender's body and check for the cellar key. Burn the building down and wait in the cellar until it clears out.
You're evil, I love it.
At some point you die, as I say, you're dead.
Oh yeah, yeah, it does. Oh yeah, I've tested this a lot of times.
That's
It
not like a
does.
brutal, you're dead, right?
No, it's-
No shocking sound.
It actually does like a whole story, like giving you like an epic last stand. It usually gives you a good chunk of paragraph describing how you died. But so
All right, then I guess we're fighting off the flaming zombies until we're dead.
Okay.
And let's get this epic last paragraph going.
oh, that's not how you spell fight.
That's ChatGPT.
It'll figure it out. Yeah.
Unless you put like fest.
Oh boy. Okay. As you fight, as you fight the flaming zombies, you swing your sword at them, trying to take them down. However, the flames make it hard to see, and you end up taking more hits. Your health points drop down to 5 points. You need to come up with a new strategy if you want to survive. What do you do now?
Self-destruct.
Okay, go out with a
That
blaze of glory.
ultimate self-destruction magic embedded in me by the Magic Guild. Before I partake upon this mission to save the town.
You got to repeat that. I'm not that
Save the
fast.
town or raise
Okay.
it with a giant bomb.
Oh, screw it. I'm gonna just say go out in a blaze of glory.
Go out in the blaze of glory sounds great to me.
Okay, as you decide to go out with a blaze of glory, you charge towards a zombie horde with your sword in hand. You take out several zombies with your sword, but you're quickly outnumbered. The zombies take you down, and your health drops to 0. You have lost the game.
Oh.
All right.
Thanks for playing, everybody. Better luck next time.
If I want to play, it will like give me a random paragraph of like every time.
Yeah,
I wanna
it
play.
has a degree of randomness. So this one starts with zombie invasion the entire time. Like that's our first prompt. We learned that ChatGPT does way better if you give it a simplistic prompt instead of being like, all right, you can start anywhere. It starts to get all fuzzy with its memory. So simple prompt, and you can do whatever you want. They're always different. How the zombies came about, the backstory, everything is different. So it's kind of cool. Yeah. Hey, thank you. I'll fix that.
All right, so
What did you make it with?
Matt, would you like to come back up here? Because we're about at that question part right about here. And I think that was pretty much it for our presentation.
Wait, back to your question. So we use ChatGPT. We had actually, we use ChatGPT, and my buddy Arthur is my coder. I actually don't know how to code. He put up on our website. I'm not sure how he did it, but we had to implement a series of rules that took me about 2 weeks to make. Me personally, I had to figure out exactly how ChatGPT worked, like how to keep forgetting things and how to solve it. So it was a lot of just play testing, and I came up with about 25 rules that I had to follow. And it had to be simple. They could not repeat on each other because if 2 rules compete for each other, it forgets both of them. So I could show you that a little bit later afterwards, pull up on my phone. But yeah, I carry about 25 rules, 10 for combat, 10 for story. And we're actually working on something now where we give it personality. So I'm sure you guys have heard about Dan, right? How you can jailbreak ChatGPT to make it kind of crazy and erratic. Yeah, we kind of used that prompt but changed it. So we made it it's called Mad Merlin or something like that. And he is a little
not
wild.
safe for work.
Not safe. Well, not. Yeah, he's kind of crazy. He curses at you and belittles you and makes you die pretty quick. But it's pretty fun, and we're trying to really differentiate ourselves with this because we notice a lot of the AI dungeon masters and stories, they don't have personality. So we try to create them with that. This one's obviously our base level, and there's a lot of things to fix with it. But we're trying to make a lazy dungeon master, an evil dungeon master, and a friendly one. So and hopefully make this into an app one day. Because I think they're kind of missing out in the market. They're just pumping them out and just different stories. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing.
Then the user will pick
the personality. They'll pick personality and then what type of prompt they want, like what story they want to go with. Thank you.
All right, Matt, we got to come up with some really wild character art to go along with that.
Oh, without doubt, yeah. You want that.
I'm so excited for the lazy dungeon master. That's like totally my vibe.
Yeah, dude, I think it's going to be fun. But I'll get back to you both. Oh, any more questions? Sorry.
You guys are using the API for ChatGPT.
Yeah, this is actually 3.5 right now.
It is the 3.5. Is this the turbo?
Yes, this is turbo one.
Okay. Is this for that you have to pay for each word it responds with, right? So how are the costs if you're comfortable answering?
Of course.
Normally
They're very, very cheap. I think if all of us played this for like a week, I'd spend $1, maybe $2. Yeah, it's 0.00006 per
word, right?
Yeah, per
or
word.
per thousand.
No, I think it's per word. They might be even cheaper than that. I don't remember how many zeros off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But 4.0, GPT 4.0 is way better than this, and I've been experimenting with it, and it's far more interesting. And actually, the real problems we had with this is it has a tendency to forget things, right? So I kept having to put in the prompts and trying to make the rules, because I kept playtesting it on GPT's website. But I learned if you actually put it up onto our website, it has to reread the prompts every time, which really helps fix that problem, which is nice. But yeah, so we're trying to get the 4.0 key. If anybody knows how to get that, that'd be really nice. But, for ChatGPT, it's like the newest version. Oh, gotcha. Any more questions, guys?
That's 4.0. I just paid for 3.5. It's $20 a month. I get 4.0.
Right.
Yeah, but the API isn't available yet.
Right. So like you can't put it on our website, yeah. Want to get back? Any more questions?
Has anybody got any questions at all?
Oh, a little bit about you, what's the background, how did you get into it?
Oh, well.
That video was down, so we couldn't even use that.
It's supposed to be really.
Cool. Well, you have more experience. All right, cool. I just started this recently. I kind of came into my love for making video games after having a failed business. And then afterwards, I started a pressure washing business. It was pretty successful. And I met Arthur, my coder, and me and him just brainstormed ideas. And we're actually making a game right now. I don't know if I should say the name of it, but it's called The Shittiest Game Ever, and it's really, really fun.
It's really shitty.
It's really shitty. But we're making that game, and on the side, we just made this. And yeah, that's how I got into it. And we just thought it'd be a cool thing to do while people are perusing our games, just to play a game themselves. So.
Are you planning on having just like a chat or do character with it? Because there's like something that connects to ChatGPT and voice. People create literally a Journey AI face and then they connect with voice and
Interesting.
the whole thing. And so I can give you all the
Information, please. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
it's like DID is doing the animation. Something like that.
So you're talking about the game itself, we can make it when you build the character.
Yeah.
ChatGPT then run it through DID, create a Journey AI character, and it will literally talk.
Oh, that's
Yeah, so
actually
I'm
really
trying to
crazy.
like, put all the dots together.
I had that.
You do
Huh.
DID?
Mhm.
Really? Can you? Maybe I'll text you.
Yeah, after, that'd be really cool.
But yeah, there's a whole process to it. Didn't bring it up to you yet.
Oh, well, okay, well, we'll talk about this afterwards.
You can create like maybe like several character and people can choose.
Yeah.
The look of him from Johnny.
Anything to make it more personable and like feel like they're connected to the story, that's 100% key. So yeah, I'll talk to you after this. That'd be really fun. All right,
You need the background. No, now you.
Oh, my background?
Yeah. I didn't do that yet.
Hi, everybody. It was a warm summer day in 1988. Just kidding. So my background is in design and illustration. I schooled out in Nassau and jumped around from place to place and worked at a magazine and then eventually made my way down to Florida. Things got wild. So I became an art director back in like 2013 and gave up the dream life. And I did a really classic, tragic, personal project that broke me on the inside. And then I went back to teaching for a while. And in the process of teaching, I got into doing like STEAM teaching. So I would teach children how to do 3D models and how to do illustrations and how to tell stories and how to build robots and how to code video games and how to build a workforce. Yeah, it was great. So I did that for a couple of years and, you know, eventually started up my company back in 2016 and started working for different industries in various ways using motion graphics and 3D design and programming in some capacities to like really just build up branding. And then eventually found my way to meet Matt and Arthur and even a couple of other of the homies out here. And we had a really good time talking about all sorts of fun techie stuff. This was a terrible description of me, but it was the best I could do on short notice. All right, well,
Thank you.
thank you very, very much. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you, Will. Just curious, who is here for the first time?
Me.
You, okay, it seems like almost half of the room, and we finish a little early. Usually what we like to do after our events is go to Downtown House of Pizza. I don't know if you know where it is, but it's like the little court, the pizza place in downtown. There's a little courtyard in the back that you don't have to eat pizza. There's other restaurants, there's a taco place, there's all sort of things, and we usually like to hang out there. So I hope that you can join us. And since we finish early, actually, we could probably spend like 15 to 20 minutes here. 15? yeah, like about 15 minutes, so that will take us to 7:50. That's when we're gonna start heading out there, so please feel free to just hang out here and do some networking and just connect with each other, and thank you. Okay, thanks friends online, we're gonna close this now. Mike says great presentation. Thank you everyone for joining online. Thank you, Mike. We'll see you later. See you everyone online.